Hello, hockey and basketball fans. My name is David. I thought I would start this video at 9:35 on the evening of Monday, 22nd of May, 2023, North American Eastern Time. So I've been watching some hockey, throughout the on Monday. Not so much interested in the Stanley Cup playoffs, at least at this point, because really about determining which teams will get to a Stanley Cup final, and whether either of the teams that does make it will not have won a cup before this season. So it's somewhat encouraging that the Golden Knights and Panthers are ahead in their series, but who knows? Those series are not over just yet. Thought I would turn to various developments at the International Ice Hockey Federation Adult Men's Worlds, or AMW, tournament. Top division. So it's a very close game between the Hungarian and Austrian teams. It was decided in a shootout. The Austrian team prevailed, and will get to remain in the top division at least for another tournament. The Hungarian team was eliminated, although had been in second last in Group A going into that crucial game. I mean, initially I thought Hungary would not have a chance. They'd lose all their games. Hungary would lose all of its games. Well, Slovenia ended up doing that, but even before that final game of the tournament, Slovenia ended up losing regulation to its Kazakh counterpart. Slovenia had already been relegated, so it wasn't so bad. So, it was inevitable anyway. It was just more playing for pride, and, well, it'll be 2024, the Division 1 Group A tournament. Slovenia and Hungary will go back down. Britain and Poland going back up. Let's see what happens, whether there is a team that qualified for the 2024 tournament that goes down to Division 1 for the 2025 tournament. Or at least a team that played in this tournament that was not relegated that goes down for the next tournament. I'm not sure what that team's going to be, what those teams will be if that does happen. So yes, it's definitely going to be interesting to say the least. Yeah, and Switzerland's in first place, clinched first place in Division B, so that means Canada can finish not better than second. Has a game coming up in under 15 hours, I believe. Then there's the game. There was that. Then there was Finland locked into third. So it'll be interesting to find out where Canada's adult men's team finishes. It's not going to be in first, but with Canada's sputtering offense not exactly having produced, Joe Veleno out due to suspension, and potentially Adam Fantilli out as well. A shocking loss to Team Norway in a shootout. Joel Hofer allowed 3 goals. 3 or 4 goals he allowed, were ugly ones. But what may end up, being the biggest takeaway is a dirty, dangerous, unnecessary hit by Adam Fantilli, a potential NHL draftee, on Christian Kasastul of Team Norway. Hit to the head along the boards that resulted in a match penalty being given to Fantilli. What the implications that has for the draft, hard to know. What the International Ice Hockey Federation decides to do about Fantilli, hard to know as well. There was a short video posted on the TSN YouTube page about a claim by Mike Johnson, color commentator for that game, that somehow that Cosastul had been dripping blood. Couldn't see blood, but there's no doubt Cosastul was quite shaken up, to say the least. The hit did have an impact, and not necessarily in a good way. I hope Cosastul is okay. Not sure if he is, but even if Cosastul plays another game, doesn't matter. Not to me. Because Fantilli decided to do something stupid. A check to the head that earned him a one-way ticket to the press box for the remainder of that game. So I believe it was late in the second period. It's a full recap of that game that shows the ejection and one of the on-ice officials having uttered the words match penalty. Which means pretty much, yes, I know the penalty minutes are, beyond 5 minutes or 20 or so. I don't really know. But that's pretty much academic at this point. The main thing is that the Canadian adult men's team was short a man for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Thankfully, they were not scored on, but it doesn't matter. Can't take stupid penalties like that. Let's see what happens. The IHF has not yet decided on whether Fantilli should receive a suspension, but whatever suspension it does decide will only apply to games administered overseen by officials employed by the IIHF. Well, so I'm not sure, though. I mean, Fantilli may move down the draft, but again, there's also what he did. We'll definitely follow him. It's all over the internet. That hit. We'll follow him likely for a very long time. Even if the NHL Department of Player Safety or its American Hockey League or East Coast Hockey League equivalent doesn't, or any equivalent in the American Hockey League, NHL, NCAA doesn't know that for disciplinary purposes, there's no doubt that hit's going to be all over the internet, and it's going to be. The question will be whether Fantilli has learned anything, that it's just not acceptable. I don't believe he's going to escape discipline, but it's a question of what discipline it'll be. Probably find out in the next 12 to 15 hours or so what happens. But again, things don't look too good for him. But hopefully he's learned that it's just not acceptable. I doubt it. Who knows, though? Anyway, Canada has one more game left in the prelim round against its Czech counterpart, and then a quarterfinal date with its American, Swedish, or Finnish counterpart. To be determined will be whether Canada will end up being a semi-finalist. That's to be determined, but inconsistent offense is a big concern of mine. It helped kill the Raptors in a playing game against the Chicago Bulls. It helped kill the Leafs' chances of advancing beyond a conference semifinal against the Panthers. 2 goals or more or less is not a recipe for success. I'll say that again. Leafs even won one game scoring just 2 goals or fewer. Is remarkable in that postseason, but again, 7 games in a row, and conference final was a no-go. Anyway, before I go, I thought I would mention that if you like this video, you can always click the like button. If you want to subscribe to my channel, you're free to do so. Please note that if you do subscribe, you'll get more timely notification of videos that I post. I do try to put out videos at least every other week, but quite frequently because I like hockey and very much so. On that note, I'm going to say, go Canada, go, and go Leafs, go.